Shalom, shalom. Getting ready to get going. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. I'm going to try to move this one. Just a little bit more light. Push the light up. Pray. Do a little bit of readjustment. Blessings. Blessings there, everyone. Let me get adjusted here a little bit. I do pray y'all can see me well. This is the final part of our relationship with offerings with Yahweh. How offerings help us understand our relationship with how Yahweh uses offerings to help us understand the relationship that we have with the Father. So this is the final series, so I'm going to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to cover a lot of ground on today. Let me get my everything settled. I pray that your Tuesday is blessed wherever you at. I do pray. Running a little behind. I was trying to figure out how to get these cameras with a little bit more light. All right, praise Yahweh, hallelujah. Let me turn this fan. All right, so thus far we have learned about, go back and cover some ground. Thus far we have learned about how offerings and the biblical high holy days go hand in hand. All right, the offerings determine the atmosphere and the environment of the high holy day. Without the offering, without understanding the offerings that are being given, all right, then you will not understand the totality of that high holy day. So the last two offerings that I'm going to deal with on today is the sin offering, which is the kata'ah offering, and the other one is a sham, all right? Or some use the s of the sheen instead of the sh of the sin. So it's either a sam, all right, or a sham. All right, that's the purification offering. All right, so we have a sin offering. Kata'at means cutting off. That's what that means. A sin offering, kata'at, and we have the asham or the asam offering, which is the offering of purification. So these two offerings, listen to me. Remember when I first started out talking about offering, the first one I taught you was the burnt offering, the olah offering. The olah offering is what we call an accent offering. All right. The olah offering or the accent offering is an offering that's all smoked up by itself, burnt up like burning meat on a grill, and never taking the meat off the grill until the meat is burnt to ashes. All right, that's in the simplest form. That offering goes up to Yahweh. That's an offering within itself. But listen, the Minka offering, the Zavak Shalamim offering that we covered so far, all right, and then we have what we're going to cover today, the Asam offering and the purification offering and the sin offering or Kata'ah offering, all right? So, the offerings, listen to this. This is where I think a lot of misunderstanding comes into play, all right? Let me go back over some notes. The Minka, Zavak, Kata'at, and Asham offering, they, all right, can be a burnt offering, all right? They can be a burnt offering, but a burnt offering is not a Minka offering, the Zavak Shalamim offering, peace offering, tribute offering, the Kata'at offering, or the Asam offering, all right? And that's why I think a lot of people get confused. A burnt offering is the one that's going to be offered all the time in every time of rest, all right? Every seventh day on the Sabbath day rest, seventh day Saturday, all right? And the high holy days. But a Minka offering, all right, grain or meat offering, or the Zavak Shalamim offering, peace offering, or the Asam, all right, purification offering, or the Kata'at, sin offering, those offerings are not always offered simultaneously and continuously and cohesively together all the time. And that's where I think that's where the confusion comes in, all right, of the presentation of the offering. And so on this morning when I was kind of doing a little rebriefing, we run into, when we get into Hebrews chapter 10, where they say, well, offerings are the offerings of the blood of the bullocks, and those offerings are not offered again, and we don't have to sprinkle blood on the outer altar, the inner altar, outer horns or the inner horns. All right. So that's where a lot of the confusion come in on the offerings. Here's my portion. Here's my portion. To help us understand the mind of Yahweh. All right? Here's two things that you must do, because one may understand that perspective, all right, does not negate the fact of the keeping of the high holy days and the presentation of the offering. Here's what I suggest. Keep the high holy days and see what offerings are given on that high holy day and what the offering represented in that hour and that moment. That's what I suggest to do, so that you will learn the mind of Yahweh. All right? I'm not going to get into the heaviness of the blood offering. Here's what I want to say. As you learn on today, when it says that Yeshua, all right, was the sacrificial offering, all right, for the shedding of the blood, still understand what Yeshua did. What Yeshua did in understanding, listen to me, what Yeshua did in understanding the offerings, you are going to see that even Yeshua's portion unto mankind does not negate the fact of the accountability held unto man. If Yeshua was a burnt offering, all right, all our offering, what we learned about, Yeshua was a sin offering, all right, what we're going to learn about today. And Yeshua was the purification offering. On today, listen, understand what Yeshua did. We're still accountable unto Yahweh. There is an accountability on our part. And the more you study these offerings, you're going to realize that what Yeshua did really held us more accountable for our deeds and actions. Why do I say that? Thank you, Holy Spirit. I say that because it says that since Yeshua offered Yeshua's self one time, that there will never be another offering, sacrifice for the sins of mankind. All right? It also goes on to say that, so when we sin, there is no longer a sin offering offered on our behalf. And so what do? We put Yeshua afresh on the stake or the tree. All right? So in all actuality, Yeshua made us more responsible to come into the consciousness of our deeds and our actions. Listen, the law was a shadow of the things to come. The law, without the law, we would not have known our sin. But because of us not knowing our sin through the understanding of the offerings, we were still held accountable. So what did Yahweh do? Yahweh wanted us to have an opportunity to come into the consciousness of our sins, our deeds, and our actions, that will be so that there will not be a kata'at, a cutting off. When Adam, meaning male and female, not just male, but when Adam sinned, all right, when Adam was disobedient, there came sin into the world. In order to know the sin that had came into the world, Yahweh began to take us through a process, all right, which led us up to, it was a process that Yahweh seen that Yahweh had to do to lead us. He couldn't just throw it on us. All right, listen. When a child, we know that the ultimate goal of the child is to graduate out of 12th grade. But the child has to start in kindergarten. So there has to be a leading up to the 12th grade in order for the child to graduate. So what am I saying? In order, when sin came into the world, in order for mankind to have a reconnectedness with Yahweh, Yahweh implemented a system of the Shamayim that started mankind from kindergarten to get us to the 12th grade. He did not start, Yahweh never intended to start us out in the 12th grade. We all come into this as babes, as little children. And so, what Yahweh did began the process with Adam. If you go and read offerings, even before the written law was established, that was given on Mount Sinai to Moshe. Even before the law was given, there's always been an offering unto Yah. We see that with Cain and Abel. That there was a mikah, fruit offering, all right? And there was a burnt offering, meat offering. Dealing with, according to the offering that was offering, you see how Yahweh judged both Cain and Abel's intent of their heart, whether it was good or whether it was evil. The offering given determined the intent and the mannerism in which Yahweh looked at. And so one offering was received and one offering was rejected. So Yahweh has always used from the beginning of time, from the beginning of the fall, Yahweh has always used offerings to establish the relationship of mankind and Yahweh. That's all I'm here to show us. I'm not here to really do a lot of what we call the this and the that, so that we can try to find those little bitty errors, and I'm not here to do that. I'm here to try to reestablish mankind, to understand how Yahweh say, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. So how does mankind come to know in echad, in oneness, the thought and the mind of Yahweh, that we all may move in harmony and echad as one? All right? How do we become that one beacon of light unto the world? That's all. That's my portion. So, on today, we're going to learn again about sin offering, which is kata'ah. A sin offering is given, all right? So, if there has been any sin or defilement in the area, a sin offering has to be given, all right, in order that Yahweh does not, in order that there is not a cutting off of Yahweh and humanity. And so, when the children of Israel sinned against Yahweh, they were responsible for their own deeds and actions. Listen, Yeshua only became that one-time offering, but you are still responsible for your deeds and actions. The Asham or Asam purification offering, after you offer the sin offering, then because the defilement is in the environment, the area has to be cleansed now. And so now you offer a Asham or Asam offering, purification offering to cleanse the area. So, says that now it's going to be written on our hearts. How is that written on our heart? You know what? I'm going to tell you how it's written on our hearts, our consciousness. When we sin, unless someone has fell into a reprobated state, when we sin, we all feel a need to go to the altar and ask for forgiveness. Now, if Yeshua took care of that, then there will never be a need to continue to go back and repent and ask for forgiveness. There will never be a need for that deed and that action. When you come into the house of Yahweh, there are some people say, I need to give an offering. I need to make it right. That's the first thing that's on the consciousness of a man or a woman. I need to do something. And so it is written on our hearts, the law, the consciousness of our being. All right? What I want to do is to help us understand the process of what is written on our hearts, the consciousness of our mind. What propels us, all right, to ask for forgiveness, to repent, to feel sorrowful, to lay on the altar and weep and cry? What is that process all about? What Yeshua did, he became that one-time sin offering, that one-time purification offering, and that one-time burnt offering, so that we may have access to ask for forgiveness in the time of need. But Yeshua did not take away that we will not have to ask for forgiveness and repent when it's necessary. Yeshua didn't take that away. And that's what's confusing a lot of people. So the burnt offering. The burnt offering is an offering given to keep the pathway open, that we may have access unto the Father. The burnt offering also is given, all right, if we, at a time when we wish to heighten our spiritual level, when we wish to go to another level, or we want to go higher in Yahweh spiritually, then Yahweh sees that you're serious. You are accountable for your spiritual levels. People don't teach you that. All right? It tells Yahweh that I am serious. People say, I just can't, and I know I should be in another place. It opens up, or it widens, or brightens, opens up that door for you. Your gift makes room for you. A lot of people misunderstand your gift. All right, a lot of people equate that with, you know, your gifts and your talents as far as what you're skilled in, singing, dancing. But your gift, when that scripture actually means your gift makes room for you. Your gift of the offering makes the room. Burnt offering, how? A burnt offering keeps the passageway open, that you may have the opportunity to stand before the Father. The Zavat Shalamim offering is a peace offering that is enjoyed by everybody. All right? It's enjoyed by Yahweh, the priest, and the people. The Mincha offering is just for Yahweh and the priest. The meat offering, there's a portion of the meat offering that's burnt up just to Yahweh, and the rest of it is for the priest. That's how I'm showing that the rest of the offerings can be a burnt offering, all right? But a burnt offering is not those offerings. Those offerings can be a burnt offering because each one of those offerings, listen to me, each one of those offerings, there's a portion that's burnt up, smoked up unto the Father. Just goes all to the Father. There's a portion. All right? So that's what we need to understand. The Mincha, the tribute offering, or what we call the grain offering or gift offering. That's the offering that is given, all right, when you want to show adoration and admiration and thankfulness unto Yahweh, all right? And then we have the Zavat Shalamim, which still accountability that you are responsible. It's a Zavat, a peace offering. You are responsible for bringing shalom. It brings shalom in the environment. It brings peace and happiness in the environment. And then the asam, which is the purification offering, and the sin offering, which is the kata'ah offering. All right? So, let's go to Leviticus chapter 4. Leviticus chapter 4. And I'm just going to read little bitty portions to bring out the importance. All right? Since the law was in the law, sin instructions of the first writing is an example is not done away with. An example is given, a foreshadow is given for the process of understanding how that operates. All right? So, Leviticus chapter 4 says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a soul shall sin through ignorance, through not knowing, unintentionally, through ignorance, didn't even know that they sinned, all right? Against any of the commandments of Yahweh concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin, all right, according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin which he has sinned, a young bullock without blemish unto Yahweh for a sin offering. All right? Now this sin, a lot of people think other sins. This sin is sinning against Yahweh. How do you know that you have sinned against Yahweh if nothing is given to you to know the sin. So Yahweh wouldn't have us scavenging, trying to find out what our sin is. And so that's why we have to really think about what people have given unto us to say that the law has been done away with. Yahweh doesn't operate. That Yahweh did not call us to operate in ignorance so that everything will remain up to us to figure out. All right? Yahweh is not that sloppy. We see that Yahweh created. Does that look like someone who does not have order and structure? Does that look like someone who would just tell mankind, his creation, to not sin and not give them on what not to sin about? Think about the Yahweh that we serve, the Father of creation. Yahweh will not have us in that state of mind. So Yahweh did give unto mankind a set rule, set instructions. He did not want us, never intended for us to figure things out for ourselves as we go along. As soon as Yahweh seen the fall of Adam, Yahweh began the process of the redemptive process of salvation to redeem his creation back unto himself. Immediately. All right? Now, we don't have, listen, this book, listen to me. If you read in Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel, Kings and Chronicles, all right? If you read, it says the kings and what they did, the rest of what they did, isn't it written in the book of the Chronicles? That means that there are other writings that will help us understand the missing portions. But we have enough to understand that Yahweh has given a systematic plan, all right, that mankind can be living out and begin the process. All right? So, it says, and he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle, all right, to the sanctuary. Yahweh will never do away with the sanctuary. Yahweh says in Exodus, he said, build me a sanctuary that my presence may dwell there where the people can come. All right? So, as a matter of fact, let me go there. Sometimes I do some paraphrasing, but I don't like to all the time. Exodus 25 and 8. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among the people. Right? It says, and he shall bring the bullock. Now here's the example. All right? He shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before Yahweh, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head. What is that showing? That is showing accountability. That if a person sinned or a priest sinned, they are responsible for the bigger portion of their offering. First of all, it says, if you go back up, says, if the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring his sin, which he hath sinned, a young bullock without blemish. Listen to me. To find, you all know animals. Animals live outdoors. All right? And back then, they didn't have all that we had to keep, all right, to keep diseases and bacteria and viruses and bugs biting them and things of that, so that offering would not be without blemish. That's a lot. Listen, that is, who has to find that offering? A priest, or the one who has sinned had to go through the process of finding this unblemished. That was the problem in Malachi when Yahweh said, the priest, you have sinned against me. You offer anything unto me. You bring anything unto me that is blemished, you offer, and you keeping the best for yourself. Let's go there. Let's go there. And we're going to end up where we need to end up. But there needs to be clarity. Because if you don't know the mind of Yah, you will serve Yah according to your own sensual wisdom. All right? So, he says, let's see which one, all of it is. He says, oh, let's see. Let's see. Give me a few minutes. I really want to read that. Y'all just give me be with. Because he's talking to. Okay, here we go. Malachi. Thank you for your patience, you all. Malachi 1. It said, a son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where is my honor? And if I be a master, where is my fear, my respect, my reverence? Says Yahweh of hosts unto you, O priest, that despise my name, and you say, wherein have we despised your name? Listen to the relationship. They said, what are you talking about, Yah? What we done? This is what Yahweh say. You offer polluted bread upon my altar. And you say, wherein have we polluted thee? In that you say the table of Yahweh is contemptible. And if you offer the blind for sacrifice, they started offering anything. They was offering anything, but they was keeping the best for themselves. If you offer polluted bread upon my altar, and you say, wherein have we polluted thee? And that you say the table of Yahweh is contemptible, and you offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if you offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased when you give a gift to the king or the president? You ain't going to give him anything. So Yahweh say, will he be pleased with thee or accept thy person? Said Yahweh of hosts. And now I pray you beseech El, that he will be gracious unto us. This have been by your means. Will he regard your persons with Yahweh of hosts? Where is there even among you that will shut the doors for naught? Neither do you kindle fire on my altar for naught. I have no pleasure in you, said Yahweh of hosts. Neither will I accept an offering at your hand. For from the rising of the sun, even unto the going down the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. And every place incense shall be offered. That means prayer. Unto my name, and a pure offering for my name. He never done away with the offering. He just said, I don't want your offering anymore. I'm going to allow the Gentile, I'm going to make a way that the Gentile, those outside of the court, may be able to pray. That's what incense, all right? A sweet smelling savor, the prayers, and a pure offering, purification offering, for my name shall be great among the heathen, said Yahweh of hosts. But you have profaned it in that you say, the table is polluted, and fruit thereof, the fruit offering, the first fruit offerings, thereof even his meat, all right, minka offering, not actual meat, all right, flesh meat, but the minka, grain, all right, is contemptible. You said also, behold, what a weariness it is. Oh man, we don't want to keep doing this all the time. What a weariness. This is so tiresome. It became, instead of it being delight and honorable, they made it a burden. So they start offering anything unto Yah. And you snuffed at it, said Yahweh of hosts. And you brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus you brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand, said Yahweh? But cursed be the deceiver, who hath in his flock a male, and vowed, and sacrifice unto Yahweh a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, said Yahweh of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Offering determines your relationship. Yahweh used offerings to see how serious you are about establishing a relationship with Yahweh. And that's the only thing I've been saying from the beginning. Listen, the priest, the Levitical priesthood, the priest did a kata'at. They cut themselves off because they did no longer regard how and what they was bringing unto Yahweh. When they sinned, they just thought, oh, I just bring them something, anything. They got laissez-faire. They got relaxed in their relationship and their covenant bond with Yahweh. And Yahweh said, listen, in order to make it right, will a man rob Yahweh? Yahweh said, yes, you have robbed me in tithes and offering. Yahweh used tithes and offering to establish the covenant bond. But we have to see what's going on. You are responsible. You are held accountable still unto this day for your deeds and actions. Let me show you again how you're held responsible. If Yeshua did it all, there were not need for a man to repent. There were not need for a man to even come to the consciousness and say and confess anything. If Yeshua did it all, a person don't need to come to no conclusion about anything. Just live, and Yeshua then paid the price, and he can walk on through the gates. There's no need to even have a conscience to say, man, let me get my life right. You don't need to do that. if Yeshua did it, if Yeshua took care of the whole salvation plan for mankind, then there is no need for mankind to reconsider anything. So why do we do that? Because we are held accountable for our deeds and our actions. We are held accountable to turn our situation around. That's our accountability. That's us, as in 4, say, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head and kill the bullock. We have to break the neck. Listen, we have to put our hands to the neck of what we present unto. We have to break it. That's our portion. We held accountable. That shows accountability. And that shows where the accountability lies. All right? So, the kata'at, let me bring out some things about the kata'at. The kata'at is also called, all right, the purification. And then we have the asam. All right, I'm going to make the difference. The asham, all right, or the reparation, I think I've been telling y'all wrong. Let me go back and clarify. The kata'at is the purification. It cleans the area. The asam, the asham is the offering, all right, that is used for a reparation or a guilt offering. Let me clarify. The reparation or the guilt offering is the offering that's given if a person steals from you and they go to court, all right, they have to pay you back what they stole, and they also have to, all right, pay something connected with that, all right? So, and slikah, I've been saying that wrong. So the kata'at is the purification offering. It removes the defilement arising from sin. You remember David, when they brought, all right, those articles back into the camp, and they thought, when they went and fought battle, and they went and took over the land, and they thought that and Yahweh told them, don't bring anything out of that camp. But David's officers brought back some things in the camp, and Yahweh said, listen, you need to go and find out. There's something in the camp that should not be. All right, what did they do? It was defiled, and it defiled the whole area where they was at. It polluted the whole area. So then after they found those articles, in order to remove the defilement, what they had to do was to clean up that area, all right? They offered, that's why when the children of Israel, when they were traveling, moving, all right, what happened was, every time they moved, the first thing they had to do before they could set up their tents, their dwellings, they had to set up the sanctuary, all right, to already have it in place so that the offerings can be brought in, okay? So, the kata'at, or the purification, removes the defilement arising from sin. Sin, listen to this. As I talk about this now, I want to talk about it in retrospect of when it says that your temple, all right, your temple, and present yourself as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Yahweh. that your temple is not your own. And you have to go through a process of cleaning up your own temple that you may be able to present yourself a living sacrifice so that Yahweh may find a place that Yahweh may dwell or place Yahweh's name. Yahweh doesn't place Yahweh's total existence in us. What Yahweh says is that Yahweh is looking for a place to place Yahweh's name in our minds, our temples, our crowns, upon the earth. That's why everybody don't know Yahweh's name. Listen to me. Yahweh is very specific about where Yahweh chooses to place Yahweh's name. Listen to me. Let me speak something that's coming in revelation unto me. Oftentimes when we get conscious, we get upset when people don't say the name Yahweh. It's not for them to say. Listen, the Jews say that Yahweh's name is too holy. So they say Hashem. All right? Don't get upset at them. You got those who say they conscious. That's up to Yah to place Yahweh's name. And when a person comes to the consciousness of Yahweh's name, they come into the consciousness of the divine nature of who Yahweh is. Yahweh chooses a place to place Yahweh's name. All right? You have everybody. A name determines a person's nature. If I say your name, then somebody's going to say, oh yeah, I know them. They are very nice. If I say a person's name, oh yeah, they are something else. When you think of a person's name, you connect their nature, their character to them. If I just say, he is walking down the street, you're going to say, who you talking about? Who you talking? What you say? What you talking about? You know, no name. So nothing is connected with the name. So everybody, even conscious, not saying the name of Yahweh, and they're saying the other names. That's Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, whatever, Yahweh. What all they're saying, that's Yahweh. That's the relationship that Yahweh says in 2 Chronicles. Let me go there. I keep thinking I don't have enough time, and so that's why I don't go to the scriptures. But listen to me. Listen. That's why. Listen. I don't debate with people when they say Yahweh has revealed Yahweh self unto me by Yahweh's name, and through the name I come to learn the divine nature of Yahweh. All right? I come to learn the mind of Yahweh. I come to learn the operation of Yahweh. No other name could lead me or is connected with these revelations and character. That's all I'm saying. Okay? 2 Chronicles chapter 6. Oh, let's see. 6 and 7. 2 Chronicles chapter 6 and 7. Now it was in the heart of David, my father, to build a house for thy name of Yahweh of Israel. All right? But Yahweh said to David, my father, for as much it was in thy heart to build an house for my name. Did you hear that? Build a house for his name. Not Yahweh in Yahweh's totality. Yahweh's name is enough for me. We cannot handle all of Yahweh. Yahweh's name is sufficient, okay, for us to build a house for my name, thou didst well, and that it was in thy heart. Notwithstanding, thou shalt not build a house, but thy son, which shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build a house for my name. Yahweh therefore hath performed his word that he has spoken, for I am risen up in the room of David my father, and am set on the throne of Israel, as Yahweh promised, and have built the house for the name of Yahweh. In it I have put the ark, whereas the covenant of Yah that he made with the children of Israel. All right? So, what we're trying to do with understanding how to have this relationship with Yahweh is so that we can clean this temple and know how to clean it according to Yahweh, all right, that Yahweh may find a house to place Yahweh's name, all right? It's not our understanding and our revelations and our wisdoms and our intellects, all right, and knowledges that we come across. It's not to show nobody what you know. It's in order for you to get yourself together that you may be re-glorified with the Father. That's the purpose of the learning. And in the process of your journey, there may come someone along who can partake of the same food that you have. Okay? I pray that this is making sense. So, sin literally pollutes a place, and guilt rests on that area. If sin isn't purified, it builds up. Ultimately, it can drive Yahweh from living among his people. So, if Yeshua did it all, why do we not try to sin? And have you ever sinned so much till you felt disconnected from Yahweh? That disconnection? Why? Sin is a kata'at. Sin cuts off you and Yahweh. And so what do? You begin to take yourself a purification. Most people cry. Purification. You moan, you groan, whatever you do. All right? A kata'at is required to avoid kataret, cutting off. In the case of leaders, which we read, if the priest sinned, but not the anointed priest, blood is smeared outside the holy place on the horns of the outer altar. The altar for burnt offerings. For more serious sins, such as sins of the anointed priest, of the congregation, blood is smeared inside the holy place on the horns of the inner altar. The altar incense. This ritual procedure purifies the place where Yahweh dwells. Okay? So, now, that is the kata'at, to purify. We all take ourselves through that. That has not been done away with. And we see that all the time, because when we do things, all right, and eventually we feel void. And so what we do, a lot of people, they've been in their life a long time, doing whatever they want to do, but there's something written on the consciousness or the heart or the mind of man. Person looks up one day, and what happens? They look up one day, say, you know what, I got to get myself together. I got to stop living like this. All right, where does that come from? that's written on man's mind to begin. That is, everybody has a built-in quality of the connectedness of from whence they came spiritual. All right? So a person say, I got to go to church. Or I got to do something. I got to make a change. All right? So we all, what I'm trying to say is that the law is not done away with. And because we've been taught that, it has caused mankind to have this disconnectedness with the Creator. We don't know how to connect with the Creator that created us. And we need to learn how to reconnect with the Creator, not the way that man gives us to connect. Listen, the way that man gives us to connect with the Creator oftentimes leads us in a place of void. We feel void. We feel empty. We never feel like we got the full understanding of Yahweh, because I hear too many people say, I wonder what is Yahweh's purpose for my life. I wonder if I'm doing this right. I wonder if I'm doing that right. I wonder, what do I really need to do, all right, to make sure I'm in the will of, there's too many open-end questions that are very, very important and significant to the plan of the salvation plan of mankind. And we leaving too much openness unto man when we don't put them on a path. It's one thing I love about my husband. When we go through our high holy days, he don't leave no, between the high holy days, there's still a path. All right? And leading up to where we getting ready to go into the Feast of Trumpets, all right? And where we getting ready to go into atonement, which I'm going to touch on. All right? We're still on a path to Mount Sinai. All right? We're still on that path. And so there's a path that Yahweh, not only with the high holy days, but in between that Yahweh places us that we may be held accountable for our deeds and our actions. But since nobody has taught us, we end up, all right, in folly. We end up doing things and making decisions that are harmful unto us and cause a kata'at. What man teaches, all right, man teaches if there's a kata'at with man, then there is no accountability. But man don't teach you that there could be a kata'at, a cutting off between you and Yahweh. Man keeps himself in that place to try to keep you accountable unto man. We see it all the time, that members, pastors and leaders want the members to be accountable to the pastor, all right? Instead of accountability unto Yahweh. So when the pastor or the leader falls, then the people fall. But if the priests sinned, they were accountable to show the people, listen, if the priests fall and fall into sin, you are still held accountable for your deeds and your actions and your sin against Yahweh. How do you sin against Yahweh? When you sin against what he has given unto us. He gave us the commandments, saying, if you take my name in vain, you sin against the commandment. Yahweh's giving you how we sin against Yahweh, the commandments, the laws, the statutes, the judgments. All right? But since we have not been taught, and I started out that if a man sins inadvertently, or if he sins unintentionally, it does not excuse him from the sin. So the Spirit, which is written on man, will begin to bring to the consciousness of what is written on the heart that you are in sin and you need to rectify the sin that you are in. There's still an accountability. Let me read something. Unattended sin. Purification offerings are required for individuals who sin, even unintentionally. Listen to this. Yahweh is smooth. You're talking about a smooth operator. Yahweh is smooth. Say even unintentionally. Sins of omission are described in Leviticus 1:5, 1 through 6. Indicates that forgetting a memory slip, if you so happen, all right, what the Spirit of man going to do is to bring to your consciousness, even though, because you know a lot of people say, oh, I forgot. That does not unexcuse you. It says, a memory slip incurs guilt. A person who bears sin is guilty regardless of whether or not he knows it. Remember I told you before the law came into play that Yahweh still put something in place? We seen it with Cain and Abel, the offerings. One was accepted, one was not accepted. But then what Yahweh did, he graduated us from kindergarten so we can get to 12th grade. So he says that I'm going to give them, it's going to be written. All right? Without the law, we would not have known what was sin without what is written, but it's still, because listen, there was still sin. Yahweh knew that we needed to know what sin was. Because we did not know that there was sin in the earth doesn't mean that there was not sin. And Yahweh said, because they don't know, I need to make sure that they do know so that there will not be a cutting off. All right? So, unintentional sin does not excuse the one who sins. In general, the more serious the sin, the greater the cost of the sacrifice. Individuals offer small female goats or ewe lambs for unattended sin. So everybody's talking about all sin is the same. No, it's not. There is some sin that is wicked. There's abominations, all right, that Yahweh looks at. All sin is not equal and even across the board. We've been teaching people that. And so we think a pedophile is equal to one who takes something from their brother and their sister. That is not. There are some sin, but because the law has been done away with, we don't know that it is a sin. It tells you don't sleep with your sister, don't sleep with your kinfolks, don't do beastology. So what do we see in the world? You look at Jerry Springer, you got cousins, go with cousins, mothers, marrying sons, and everybody all mingled up. You got beastology saying no woman is to lie with the beast as she lied with mankind. But we have it in the world. Why? Because we say the law has been, and so the things, the evil imaginations that has entered into the world, all right, has done us a kata'at. Sin separates you from the love of Yahweh. So let me wrap it up. It says, the anointed priest or congregation offers a male bull, the largest and most costly of offerings. Listen, my husband said all the time, if you had to bring $1,000 to Yahweh every time you sin, there would be less sin in your life. You know what you'll come to the terms and begin to say? I ain't doing that. That's costing me too much money. When you go, person goes to jail, it's costing too much money to be in jail. I'm on house arrest. I got an ankle bracelet on, and they want me to come down there. They know I ain't got no job. It's costing me my time. I can't find no job. I can't do that. It costs you to live in sin. So Yahweh say, listen, if you don't live by my law, you're going to live by the law of the land. All right? So, the ritual procedure calls for samika, laying on her hands. Remember, your portion, which identifies the offerer with the sacrifice. Following samika, the offerer slaughters his animal. Then the priest. We want to put everything on the priest. Will you please pray for me that I come out of my sin? Will you please? No. The priest only has a certain portion. You, the offering, is responsible for your offering, and you're responsible on how you bring it. You're responsible about the consciousness of how you bring it, and then the priest can dress it and purify it and offer it up unto Yahweh as a sweet smelling Savior. But the priests do not do all the work. You're responsible. This is the offerings. They establish this relationship to make you accountable, not unto mankind, not unto the pastor, not unto the priest, but make you accountable unto Yahweh. So that's why we have to get and we have to learn. We have to learn. Moses said that I had to teach you the word. I had to show you the word of Yahweh because you were afraid by reason of the fire. What was the fire? The fire represents truth. They did not want to come penny face to face with Yahweh and Yahweh's truth. They said, oh, that's too much. Moses, you go up and see what it is. Too much. We're not ready for it. So Yahweh, knowing where mankind was, Yahweh puts a conduit. That's all I've been saying. That the priest, the pastor, the leader is only a conduit. All right, for you bringing your tithes and your offerings, but your tithes and your offerings and your sowing seeds and all that has nothing to do with the pastor. The pastor and the spiritual assembly is just a conduit. It's just a meeting place between Yahweh and you, because the people were afraid to face Yahweh by themselves. And so Yahweh has always put in position a man or a woman in that place, in that stance, to be the conduit, because we don't want to face Yahweh for ourselves. And Yahweh understands the process of coming from kindergarten to 12th grade. It's a process. It's a graduation. All right, let me wrap up. I said that some time ago, but this is the last part, part 5. Last part of this, the final part. Okay? It says, then the priest sprinkles the blood on the horns of the outer altar, even in the case of the Nasi leader, Leviticus 4:30. For more serious sins, blood from the kata'at must be applied to the horns of the inner offering. Again, a lot of people, in the beginning of this series, I showed you that. No, you don't have to go buy an actual cow. But I did say, all right, that you bring a cow in a true storehouse. I guarantee you my husband don't know what to do with the cow to get the offerings from that, to get it slaughtered, all right, and sold, all right? So we know what to do. It wasn't done away with. That's where kosher meat comes from. The Jews kosher all their meat. They slaughter all their meat to present all their. You can see, I don't advise you to learn nothing. But I seen on YouTube where there is a Jewish priest who knows how to cut a chicken, all right, and slaughter it the kosher way, all right? So it has not been done away with, you all. Okay, so on today we got what's coming up. We got the blowing of the trumpets, all right, coming up, the 8th, 9th, 10th, all right? And then we got atonement. We got atonement coming up. So what are you, from your learning, what's going to be offered? Burnt offerings and atonement, because atonement is a time for mankind to think about, all right, and atone for their deeds and their actions. This rolls around every year, and what it does, it gives a person a clean slate to start the high holy days off with a clear conscience. Now, a lot of people think that when the blowing of the trumpets, that is the beginning of the Hebrew New Year, civil year. It's not. All right, that's the month of Abib. What the blowing of the trumpets is the beginning of the high holy days, or what we call our high holy Sabbaths, times of rest. So to begin the high holy Sabbaths, high holy days, we have the blowing of the trumpet, which lets us know, sounds the alarm, that we're getting ready to start the ball rolling once again. Why does Yahweh have this rhythm? Because as people come in, they will all come in harmony, all right? All come in Echad. We will always be Echad. We will always be one. So when a new person comes to the new consciousness, they're going to come into atonement. We're not going to bring them in all over the place. All right? When a person comes into this conscious, they're going to have the opportunity to atone, rectify, clear the mind. You're clearing the mind for Yahweh. This is about a relationship between you and Yahweh. Coming to this consciousness, all right, takes out the excuses, all right, that we give, the blame that we place on the middle parts of our life. Yahweh gives everybody the opportunity, all right, to take out the middle part, take out the excuses, however they may be. We all have the opportunity to take out the middleness and begin to start our life rolling on the right path. So we have atonement. During atonement, we do not feast. We have the high holy days where we all come together and we offer a Zavat Shalomim. Remember, I told you that offering is for the enjoyment of the whole community. That I can be responsible for bringing shalom and peace, happiness and joy. That's not the time. During this time was an offering. During atonement, we have a burnt offering. We learned about that. We have a kata'at offering, and we have an asham offering, the sin offering, because that's what's taking place. So when the blowing of the trumpet, up until 9 days, you have, if you wronged anybody, you have the right to get it right, See, everybody have this opportunity. This is what's so beautiful. If you've done anything wrong, or anything's within you that you need to clean up, you got 9 days to work on it. Accountable, but you're accountable. Yahweh has anointed that time that if you begin to take the steps in that direction, then that time will be anointed for you to do so, and it will allow you, but Yahweh is seeing how serious you is about turning your life around. And when you turn your life around and put yourself, you accountable for putting yourself on the right path, Yahweh has made a system, that a path that you can be put on, but you're responsible, but it's there for you. It says that Yeshua, that we have an advocate. An advocate is a lawyer. Yeshua is the word. We have an advocate that speaks on our behalf. That everybody has the opportunity to do this. All right? So, in atonement, we afflict ourselves. We fast. We fast. We're not enjoying anything because we're focused on cleaning up, purifying this land, which no telling how we have defiled the land throughout the year. But here's the most beautiful thing, that the high holy days put you on that path. And then after you atone, guess what? We have what we call the Feast of Booths, the ingathering. That's the time where Savat Shalamim, everybody's going to come together. They're going to enjoy the harvest. They're going to enjoy the fruits that have come in. Everybody's going, that's the time we're not going to fast. So I'm going to conclude with this. To show, and I pray that this has blessed you, to show you how Yahweh has put something in place. That, listen, it cannot be done away with. This will be here after us. It was here before us. This word will be here after us. All right? The law was not done away with. Okay? So, let me conclude with this. Let me not put my own twist in here. The Asham offering. The Asham offering. Only the Asham guilt offering atones for stealing holy property or falsely swearing by Yahweh's name in court. Using Yahweh's name or property to gain personal advantage incurs guilt. That's why we got to be careful. Listen. For example, all right, our deities are supposed to be holy unto us. But Yahweh's not a deity. Yahweh stands alone. Yahweh just is. But we have comedians who kind of, they have put, Jesus, JC in their comedian act, all right? And I see people who mix who's supposed to be holy with vile language, all right? How can you so comfortably do that? That's all I'm making reference to. I have to come in this manner, all right? How can you be so lax to combine, all right, and mock who is supposed to be holy unto you, all right? Yahweh said that I'm jealous. And don't take my name in vain. There's a lot to that. That encompasses a lot, but on a small scale, you cannot have Yahweh's name and a defiled mouth at the same time. One or the other you're going to have to serve, and you're going to have to give up, because not that a person can put judgment on you, but just carrying the name of Yahweh is holy. And so, when you come to the consciousness of Yahweh's name, who is holy, and you begin to defile the temple, you bring unrighteous judgment unto yourself. That's how holy and reverence. I read in Malachi, y'all said, how do you defile my name with your offerings? How do you defile my name? Yahweh makes reference to Yahweh's name, which is Yahweh's divine nature. Yahweh's serious about Yahweh's name. It says that using Yahweh's name, our property to gain personal advantage incurs guilt. Such ma'ah, breach of faith, violates the third commandment. Exodus 27. Listen to me. To avert punishment, the person must seek reconciliation. Leviticus 6, 2 and 5, 21 through 24. Forgiveness alone, listen to this. You guys got to listen. Forgiveness alone is not sufficient. This is what we've been taught. Oh, just forgive. But you ever heard people say, oh, I forgive, but I ain't going to forget? And people, you can't do that. There has to be more to than just a confessing of your mouth. Where are your deeds and your actions? That's what Yahweh said. I need more with just a confession. Confessing, oh, forgive me, Father. Okay, I need more. That alone, I'm holding you accountable for you. That alone, that's a start. But that does not cover all the bases. Accountability. The guilty must take practical, economic. Nobody likes to hear this in connection with spiritual understanding. Oh, the pastor just want my money. The old church people, the spiritual house, they just want my money. The guilty must take practical, economic steps to settle with the victim. Restitution requires the return of stolen goods and an additional 20% considered a light penalty. The guilty party then offers a 2-year-old ram that is tame. That is tame, not wild. All right? Whole, unblemished by your assessment in silver as in a shine. All right? Not a bull. You have to transfer that over unto money and bring it. Okay? The price for guilt incurred cannot be reduced. Torah classifies 6 types of reparation offering, and in each instance requires a blood sacrifice that is not subject to the reduction in kind or in cost. What is all this saying? We need to hear this. We need to know this to make us more accountable. When Yeshua said, don't only be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. Not only hearers, but doers. Show me your faith by your works. Faith without works is dead. That's what it was saying. You got to have something that you... And listen to me, let me close. I would rather try my best to hold to what is in front of me than to hold to something that has been given to me from La La Land. That means the instructions that people give without the law, they pull from their own sensual wisdom and say, you go to somebody and say, well, what do I need to do? Oh, just do this, just pray and read your word. No, I need more. I need more. I need to be put on the path. When I was a little girl coming up, I wanted boundaries. I had no boundaries. Didn't get on no punishments. Ain't never got no whooping. All right? I was a little girl. I could run all over the neighborhood. I rode my bike in other neighborhoods. And when I came up, when I became an adult, said to myself, I wished I was raised. There's a little boy named Dorian. Dorian was in the neighborhood, couldn't come outside the fence. You go talk to Dorian, you had to go to the fence. Dorian wasn't allowed, and he had to ask his mother and his grandmother who can come inside the fence and play with him. All right? Dorian had boundaries. Dorian had structure, and Dorian grew up to be a very respectful and responsible young man. Why? Because his mother and his grandmother gave him boundaries, gave him structure, put him on a path. I was a little girl. I wasn't raised with no boundaries, no instructions, no chastisement, nothing to really tell me this and that. So I became pregnant, teenage mother, all right, no boundaries. I didn't even know I had done anything wrong. My mother didn't even chastise me when I became pregnant in my teenage years. I didn't know I had done anything wrong until I got older. I was like, my mother shouldn't have let me get pregnant at a young age. She should have told me no. And I asked her, can I go get on birth control? She should have said, no, you can't go get on no birth control. You're too young. And if you go out there and do something, you're on your own. And she should have gave me boundaries. I didn't have no boundaries, no structures. Nobody tell me, no, don't do this. Do this. Get up. Go to college. Blase, all right? And I wouldn't have to face a lot of things. I'm making it out okay now. But how am I okay now? Because of this. When I became an adult, I needed something. I couldn't go about in my own world. I needed something to help me. My mother is not here. When my mother and my father have forsaken me, there will Yahweh be there to pick me up. I don't have a mother. I don't have a father. I still need something. So I need something. I keep bumping my head. And so I was put on a path. I was put on a straight, narrow path. And this path has proven out. It has protected me. It has sheltered me. It has kept me out of harm's way. Has kept me out of danger. And listen, I'm not tooting my own horn, because I've been in some places I shouldn't have been. But Yahweh seen his hand on my life. There were some situations, I probably could have ended up in jail, hanging with the wrong people at the wrong time. I've never been to jail. I ain't even never owned a gun in my life. Why? Not because of me and my children. All of them are in college. Why? Not because of me. I had no knowledge. I had no wisdom. I got in this, and this put me on the path. And it showed me how to raise my children. It showed me what I could and I could not do. It showed me the places I shouldn't be. It began to instruct me and tell me the people that I shouldn't hang around with. So here I stand before you today doing exactly what I'm doing. Because of the path. Not because I'm so good, because I'm so great, because Yahweh's name, Yahweh chose to place Yahweh's name, which is Yahweh's divine nature. And Yahweh's divine nature is his commandments, his laws, not all of him, but the portion that Yahweh chooses to extend unto mankind. It's all we need. We don't need anything else. We are people, we stiff-necked, all right? We rebellious, we disobedient, we go about so we don't need anything else. Everybody's trying to search out all this miraculous and revelatory type of, we don't need anything else. We need exactly what we have in front, and until we get this right, we don't need to know anything else. We don't need to know what happens when we transition after this life. We don't really need to know about other galaxies. We always trying to need to know more, but Yahweh has placed us in an earth that we can't even take care of what we have. What we need to learn about aliens for when we can't even live in harmony amongst ourselves of the people that we we do know. We killing our brother and our sister. You gonna kill the alien if you find out they exist. We don't need to know about them. And I know I'm going, but I got to prove a point that we got to put ourselves on the path, and this helps us put ourselves on the path. Listen, this final series is not on you. Yes, it is. Lessons. Yes, it is. All right. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Periscope, and I'm on Facebook. If you go to Facebook at PastorG EWILLIMS, you go to my ministry page, not my regular page, my ministry page, you will find this whole series. If you go to YouTube, all right, you will find this whole series, all right? And in Periscope, if you're following me, it is in my archive of understanding our covenant relationship, all right, with Yahweh through offerings. Again, it is to take the middleman out, but the middleman doesn't go anywhere, but it is an establishment of your relationship of Yahweh and you. Yahweh bless you. May Yahweh keep you. May Yahweh's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you until we meet again. In this way, Yahweh said, this is how you are to put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Shabbat Shalom. Not Shabbat Shiv'i Shalom. Shiv'i is 7, but Shabbat Shalom. All right, peace and love. If you have any questions, you can email me at PastorGEWMinistries@gmail.com. All right, any questions about this series? And if you would like to sow a seed, you may do so, all right, with the acronym of True Storehouse Sow a Seed Ministry Outreach.org. True Storehouse Sow a Seed Ministry Outreach.org. TSHSSMO.org. All right. Bless you. Love you. Selah.